Tola Talks. This is episode 199. We're going to be talking movies today. We're going to be talking all things Bruce Springsteen, the boss. Went to see that movie, Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere. But before we jump right into that, let me add three more movies to the top 30 films of in the 80s. Remember that from the last show? All right, these three, I cannot believe that I did not put these down on the list because these are in the top 10. And when I think of movies, what are great movies are movies that I can watch over and over again. So when they come on TV, I'm watching that movie, right? How about this? Flashdance. Flashdance was an iconic film from 1983. Jennifer Beals, Michael Nouri. That was just such an amazing film. Love that. Could watch that over and over and over again. How about this? Footloose with Kevin Bacon in 1984. That was a great cast in that one. That was a really good one. And Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze, rest in peace, 1987, Jennifer Grey. So those three films, Flashdance, Footloose, and Dirty Dancing, didn't make the list from last week, but they are making it. They're going to be in my top 10 for sure. So add those to the 80s films. And hey, guys, happy Halloween. Hey, happy Friday. Today's Halloween, my favorite day of the year. The same as 36% of people say that Halloween is their favorite holiday. I'm one of them. So what do we have? We have 41 million children are going to flood neighborhoods all across America in search of the trick-or-treats tonight. He said that 3/4 of all households participate in Halloween. That's pretty cool. How about this? $13.1 billion with a B dollars, ouch, are spent on this holiday. Costumes, decorations, candy, all the stuff that we should not be eating. That's up 13% from last year. So we're spending the big bucks on Halloween. It's $114 per family. Can you believe that? $114 per family is being spent on Halloween. All right, how about this? Let me see if this is working today. Yeah, the swoosh. These are the top 3 costumes, which, by the way, I have no idea what they are. I guess that means I'm old. Number 1 is K-pop Demon Hunters. Again, don't know what that is. Number 2 is Minecraft Chicken Jockey. Now, I know what Minecraft is. Don't know what the chicken jockey is. And number 3 is Labubu dolls. I have no clue what that is. I did not even look them up because I'm not going to be going out for Halloween. And I live in an apartment building, so unlikely that people are going to be knocking on my door. But if they do, I'm going to give them money. I didn't buy candy this year. What about this? What happens if we took the $13 billion and we gave out money every year instead of candy? Anyway, for those of you participating, have fun, stay safe, be good. And hey, I remember back in the day, my favorite day was really the day before Mischief Night. We used to go with the soap and we used to throw toilet paper up in the trees. Anybody from back in the 60s, there you go. You can join me. All right, let's jump right into it. This movie, Deliver Me from Nowhere. Jeremy Allen White plays the boss. Bruce Springsteen does a great job, by the way. Jeremy Strong, who I think does an even better, well, I don't know better, but I put him down as best supporting actor. Does a great job, John Landau. And Odessa Young, welcome. She's new to me, but excellent. One of my favorite scenes, there's 2 favorite scenes from that movie without giving too much away. 2 favorite scenes is the merry-go-round scene, which merry-go-rounds were a part of my upbringing as well, right? Those are really, really awesome to do. And the second one is when they filmed in the studio, Born to Run. I mean, that was iconic. So Jeremy Allen White does an amazing job as Springsteen, but he's not Bruce Springsteen. Let me talk about that because the movie was dark. The movie was heavy. The movie was hopeful. We talk about depression. It's kind of the years leading up to 1980 for Bruce. And he was on the cusp of stardom at the time, although he already was a star to me. And let me go back and tell you, because when I first heard Bruce Springsteen, there's a DJ, rest in peace, to Ed Shockey. Ed Shockey was a legend in Philadelphia. Anybody knowing background from Philly? He was on WMMR in 1970. He's been on a lot of different stations, but Ed was known for discovering talent. And he actually did a weekly show with Bruce a little bit later on at WMGK. But he was the first to play Spirit in the Night. I'll never forget this because we listened to the radio. Now, my mom was into Motown. She was Motown. My father was a Bobby Darin. He was a Sinatra fan. And then I listened to tons of Motown. Then I started listening to Donna Summer. And then, the 70s were disco came out. So this thing called rock and roll, yeah, there was Led Zeppelin, and there was the Beatles were kind of, coming to the end there. But yes, there's a lot of different bands that were hardcore rock and roll. But Bruce wasn't that. And let me go back. Let me flash back. This was November 1st. This is a true story. November 1st, 1978. Okay, I'm 14 years old. We go to the Jadwin Gym. They called it the Jadwin Cage at the time. Bands played. Bruce Springsteen played at the Jadwin Gym. Not only did he play there, this is the first time I saw him live. Now, I heard Spirit in the Night because that came out in 1973. You guys know Greetings from Asbury Park was his first studio album. That came out in January of 1973. So let's go to, again, it was November 1st, 1978. So this is 5 years later when I actually saw Bruce. Here I am standing off to the side. There was a group of us. I'm not even sure who took us there. So I'm standing off to the side, and you could see him on stage. And from the side angle, I just saw this guy just sweating and jumping and singing. And I mean, Rosalita, Badlands, Prove It All Night was, to me, one of my favorites. But let's go back here because Bruce is, of course, a pioneer of heartland rock and roll, right? Heartland rock. He had 21 studio albums over 6 decades. Now, what I wish in that movie, again, good movie. Am I going to go run out and see the movie again? Probably not, but you should see that movie for sure. If it comes on TV, I'm definitely going to watch it again. But to me, prior to 1980, when The River came out, that was who Bruce was, all right? My favorite song of all time probably is going to be Lost in the Flood. Ragamuffin Gunner is returning home. You guys know that. Listen to Bruce's voice. It's piano, Bruce, 2 minutes in. Lopez on drums comes in, and then the drums sort of take over. David Sanchez was on piano, and he also played organ at the time. So, that was to me, that is the epitome of Bruce Springsteen. Listen to his voice in Lost in the Flood. That's from the first album, Greetings from Asbury Park. Second album was Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. That came out. He produced 2 albums in the same year, January and then November, right? And then Born to Run came out in 1975. That's kind of put him on the map, right? Born to Run. And then Darkness came out. Darkness on the Edge of Town came out in 1978. That's what Prove It All Night. But you see, what I remember most about Bruce back in the day was he was one of us. Bruce was like this young guy that we all aspired to be, who was talking about getting away. We lived in these little small towns. There's not much going on. There's no cell phones. None of that stuff. You couldn't access the greater world, right? To us, New York City was like a big deal. Going to Philly was a big deal. I grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. I grew up 30 miles west of Freehold, where Bruce grew up. So he was like one of us. He was like one of the kids from the neighborhood that I went to see. He was 14 years older, so he was like an older kid, but he was God, man. Bruce was not only the boss, Bruce was God back in the day. So going through these albums, the first 5 albums are the ones that solidified Bruce to me. From the River, the song The River, Point Blank, and Independence Day. Those are the 3 best songs. On the Darkness album, there was Darkness on the Edge of Town and Prove It All Night. Those 2 songs killed it for me. Everybody knows Born to Run. Born in the USA came later. That's the song No Surrender is one of my favorites. And then Atlantic City is from the Nebraska album, 1982. That's another one of my top songs by Bruce. But let's take a look at this. So these are my, favorites of all time. Blinded by the Light and Lost in the Flood, Spirit in the Night. So Spirit in the Night and Blinded by the Light, they were 2 singles that were released that Ed Shockey would play on the radio. And we had the boom boxes then, right? So we would listen to the boom. I would be out in the neighborhood with the guys, listen to the boom box, listen to the boss, listen to Bruce, and it hit your soul because his voice was just so powerful. And then when The Wild the Innocent came out, it was Rosalita and Sandy. Those are two songs because they kind of affiliated that with the beach. That came out. And then we got Born to Run came out in August of 1975, right? There was 8 songs on the album, but Thunder Road, Screen Door Slams. I mean, Bruce was such iconic with his first words in a song. Backstreets, Hiding on the Backstreets, Born to Run, and Jungle Land. Everybody, Jungle Land was like a 10-minute song. But what I remember most is how many times I saw Bruce, but before 1980, I might have seen him 6 or 7 times in concert. Never got as close as I did the night of Jadwin Jim. I felt like I could, reach out and touch Bruce. So he touched my soul at such a young age. And then I stayed with it. By the time I went to college in 1981, I kind of veered off from being a kind of a Bruce disciple. But love Bruce. We used to get these bootleg albums. I'll never forget that. There was that song, Prove It All Night, because in concert, Bruce was amazing. 3+ hours, 3.5 hours, this guy would be sweating, singing, but the stories that he told, he told these iconic stories. I remember the time he told a story about his dad because he didn't have a great relationship with his dad. And then he didn't go into Vietnam, right? I think he went and then he got rejected. And he told the story of his dad, and then he said, that's good, that's good. So his father was glad that he got rejected to go to the Vietnam War. What about, Santa Claus is coming to town? He talked about how he would see Clarence down the boardwalk. I mean, the concerts were iconic because of the stories Bruce told between the songs, right? Amazing. And then Darkness, everybody knows Badlands, and one of my all-time favorites, Racing in the Street. Bruce has got some great, great, great songs. Everybody knows that. But again, for me, what I would have liked to have seen is how Bruce became Bruce prior to 1982. And when he did the Nebraska album, guys, if you were a Bruce fan, it didn't matter. Whatever Bruce put out, he was a poet. He told stories with his songs, and it wasn't about all the pomp and circumstance of the music, okay? And then I put down my top 12 because I couldn't really do, it's hard to do so many songs. But so Atlantic City, I love that song from Nebraska, 1982. We talked about Chicken Man Testa. It was Philip Chicken Man Testa who got killed in Philadelphia. That was in 1981. I think it was March because ended up going to Penn that year. And I remember a guy that was from his neighborhood in South Philly, and it was a nail bomb. We know all this. So that's in the story. Again, Lost in the Flood, Blinded by the Light. Those are my 2 favorites of that album. Thunder Road and Backstreets. Hiding on the Backstreets from 1975. Prove It All Night and Darkness, as you know. The River, Independence Day, Point Blank was great. Born in the USA, No Surrender is another one of my favorite songs. That's from 1984. But again, by the time we got to 1984, Bruce had become, he was more than a legend. But how about this? This was a bonus track. You guys remember Working on a Dream from 2009. Now, I bought everything Bruce put out up until probably Nebraska. I did buy the Nebraska in a cassette. And then Born in the USA, I got that on vinyl for sure. But then The Wrestler came out. Love that song, right? With Mickey Rourke, that film. That came out. That was a bonus track, number 13 on that album. And then this song from Tunnel of Love, another one. I have the cassettes. I still have the cassettes as well as all those bootleg albums from 1987, One Step Up. Love that song. So, guys, for anyone out there, if you're a Bruce fan, you're a Springsteen fan, you're a Boss fan, you go way back. I know guys have seen him 10, 20 times in concert, but I recommend going to see that movie. I do wish they went back in time and we saw how Bruce was standing outside the Stone Pony before he became Bruce. He said he was 16. He couldn't go in. He would listen. He just dreamed of it. And his mother with the guitar, he rented the guitar. And in high school, he was a loner. But again, Bruce was one of us. And before he was a star, big time, You know, Bruce, I never did meet you, but you did change our lives for sure. Kids from Trenton, New Jersey. So, hey, guys, enjoy Halloween. Go see that movie. Jeremy Allen White does a great job, but nobody has the voice of Bruce Springsteen from those early years, Lost in the Flood. But again, see it. It's worth it. Have an awesome time tonight. And of course, be safe. And as always, get your workout in. Peace.